Map number 1, best of 5 everybody. We are in the last chance qualifier. The group stage is over, but the Nations Cup continues. $10,000 are on the line. And now we are trying to determine the final team that makes it into Phase 2. Now, as a quick recap, we had 28 teams that started out with the Nations Cup, representing 17 different countries. We went through a group stage where 7 teams already advanced directly, and now we're determining the 8th and last spot of Phase 2. So we have a mini tournament going on right now, the last chance qualifier, where a few of the teams still have a shot to try and make it into the next phase of the event. And Sweden 1 and France 3, they are the two that are currently playing out the first round here. Now, all of the matches in the last chance qualifier are actually best of 5 matches, so we moved away from the best of 3s now, which also means that our rule that a hero can only be played once within a match is starting to become a little bit more impactful. Within a best of 3, it doesn't really play that much of a role just yet, but once that you're moving into a best of 5 where you potentially have map 4 and 5 coming in, that means that more and more heroes get removed from the pool and makes it a bit more interesting on what they're doing here. Now, a couple of other things to really throw out here, of course, as well, is that first and foremost, we have with Sweden 1, now a team centered around Wooby, Azzy, we have Sven here, so we have actually some former HTC players. Quacknix played for them in one of the matches as well, and we'll see how they're doing against the 3rd seed from France. But it should be a fairly interesting match. This is a single elimination bracket, by the way. We had initially also UAE participating in it. UAE took second place in their group, and therefore they were eligible for the last chance qualifier. But they actually just yesterday withdrew from the tournament. So apparently they are currently celebrating Ramadan. That makes it too difficult for them to adjust to the starting times, and therefore we already helped them out a little bit in one of the previous play days where we pushed some of the games back slightly, but now for the last chance qualifier that wasn't really the case. So now they were just saying, okay, we can't make this, and they withdrew from the tournament for religious reasons, and which is why we are now having one team less in the last chance qualifier. So I believe it was Sweden 2, the second seed from Sweden, that actually got a free win in the first round because of that. Now, in game number 1 of the best of 5, we're heading to Dragonshire for this one. We have a first pick on Blaze. The favorite for this particular match will probably be the Swedish team. It's kind of interesting when you're looking at the teams that signed up for Sweden, because we have 3 teams that signed up in total. And when you're looking at Sweden 1 and Sweden 2, the first and the second seed, it's really difficult to tell which one is the better team. Now, you have a lot of top players, obviously, right in front of you for the first seed from the country. But when you're then taking a closer look at what Sweden 2 is able to throw out with Macke, with Berghult, you know, a couple of others like Max Passion, they are super strong too. And I would love to, at some point maybe, see a clash between them. And this could actually happen in this last chance qualifier, because both of them are currently in the last chance qualifier. And I think at the end of the day, it might come down to who was able to get more scrims and, you know, just like grow more together as a unit. We get the Orc duo right at the beginning for the blue team with Rhaegar and with Thrall. Now for Dragonshire, with Azzy most likely taken to the top lane. We have already some aggression there. They could go for a triple frontline, of course, and send somebody else up there against Blaze. We got Junkrat, we got Brightwing. And it's going to be a very, very interesting match at that. Now, quick reminder, this was actually an open tournament, so anybody could sign up. It didn't really matter what level you were playing at. The only requirement was really that you got players together for your team that are from the same country, that you are citizens, not residents. And that meant that in the group stage in particular, with seeding, obviously, there were also a lot of matches where you had like huge differences between the teams when it came down to skill. Now, we're most likely going to see a little bit of that also in the last chance qualifier, but given that this is now an actual tournament tree, as we are moving closer towards that final of this mini event here, this is going to get narrowed down more and more. So you can expect closer and closer matches as we're moving through the bracket. And then once we're heading into the second phase of the tournament, where we have 8 teams play out a full round robin to determine the seeding for the final phase for the tournament bracket, for the playoff bracket, that's where we're really going to see some fireworks. And the tournament so far was already tons of fun. We had fantastic picks, some great strategies that were played, a couple of super close games too, as teams were either fighting for the number 1 spot in the group or battling it out for the number 2. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a highlight here. And I'm personally also happy that we're now in the best of 5 phase of the tournament, because while I enjoyed the best of 3s, it's going to be interesting to see what teams will do once that we're moving into, as I mentioned before, Game 4, Game 5, how this is going to affect the drafts. So we get Hanzo and we get Maiev. Triple frontline essentially already secured here for Team Sweden. They've had in the past also a little bit of role swapping going on. It's obviously nice when you have some overlap in heroes and you can be more flexible on that. But we'll see how much they're going to use it. Over on the red team side, we get Diablo and we get Cassia to round out the draft, with both Anubarak and Garrosh actually banned out. And then, last but not least, as we're heading into game number 2, what are we going to get from Captain Rex over here? They go for Stukov. Okay, Rhaegar Stukov. No actual main tank in this sense. So you can play Maiev in that role and play Maiev a little bit as a main tank, so to say. But we've oftentimes also seen that done with Stukov. It's an interesting one that they're throwing out here, especially since it's the first game of the best of 5. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Sweden against France. Map number 1. Game on! We get the Swedes over on the left in blue. Sven on Maiev as we're starting up with game number 1 in the best of 5. We got Whoopi on Thrall. Galnagulnar is playing Rhaegar for the blue team. We got Azzy on Hanzo and then Captain Rex on Stukov. Over on the right side of the map, it's Splice on Blaze. We got Saren on Brightwing. Drax on Cassia. Vlida on Diablo. And then on Junkrat. So, it's an interesting one. First of all, map obviously requires you to really hit all of those points hard. Double control on shrines is needed to channel the Dragonite in the middle, so you need to control 3 points at the same time. With level 1, we're getting Echo of Elements for Whoopi here on Thrall. And everybody is playing this a little bit close at home. Now, a quick reminder. This is a single elimination bracket. You lose, you're out. So there is no second chance in a loser's bracket, so teams will make sure that they're not making any silly mistakes, so at least they're going to try their best to avoid it. Sometimes you might be forced into sometimes you're just coming in and you're saying, okay, we need to take some risks here. But right now, we'll see how the teams adjust. For now, obviously, we'll be starting to get the stacks together as he focuses on the minion waves. And with the interesting lineup that we're seeing here from the blue team, this could be a wild one. We've seen approaches like this. We've seen Maiev as a main tank. We've seen Stukov as a main tank. And the lineup that they're running here, you still have your front line, you have a lot of sustain, you have a lot of heals, but you also have, of course, quite a ton of damage and control with someone like Thrall and then Maiev. And just as a bit of a side note, I mean, teams obviously have been scrimming with a lot of these lineups too. So this is not just simply somebody having a bit of a hangover from yesterday's party and all of a sudden locking in some wanky heroes. Sometimes you gotta experiment, but still, all of this stuff more than played out. And they think they have a shot here. And against France 3, you can argue Sweden is the favorite. They're the first seed after all for the country. 15 stacks now for Whoopi. They got the star power too. But what can the French do? They got second in their group, of course, as all of the teams participating in the last chance qualifier were able to do. But nearly a kill against Hanzo. Instead, it's Diablo is in trouble. And there's the hit. Diablo is down. Nicely done. First blood for Sweden. The Meatballs making the plays here. Trying to put the pieces together slowly and steadily. Which they are very, very good at. I mean, if you have the home advantage of assembling IKEA furniture all day, every day, then you're really good at putting the pieces together in that little puzzle. So, yeah, for now, things are looking pretty alright. They have a bit of a lead in experience. Roughly half a level. That's what we're talking about right now. All the way up at the top. Whoopi now starting to make the play against Splice. Still trying to hold the lane here. Not easy against Blaze, obviously. And then in the meantime, we got Captain Rex sitting in the mid lane, doing his thing at the bottom of the map. Obviously still a 2-man push with Hanzo and Maiev, assisted by Rhaegar, who occasionally stops by and drops a heal or two. And I gotta say, Whoopi already with decent stacks. I mean, we're 2-3 minutes into the game right now, and he's sitting at 26. That's the first quest reward locked in, meaning his mana management is a lot easier. And from here on out, we're walking straight towards the utility he gets with 40 stacks confirmed. Oh, a little bit of a trap over here too. And instantly Drax trying to get the damage out with Cassia. Now, Whoopi still, I mean, again, he's getting a lot out of that top lane. So Blaze is not really able to shut him down too hard here. With level 7 talents now under their belt, we have Ancestral Wrath for Thrall. And at the bottom of the map, once more aggression against Diablo, as we've seen previously. Brightwing coming in for a quick help, but the fruit fly is down and Diablo is also gone. That's the double kill right there. 3 kills to 0 for Team Sweden. Brightwing taken out way too quickly. And of course there was still the applied pressure topside where Whoopi has been holding on to the shrine. They are hoping for a quick Dragon Knight here, but Blaze shuts that down. Doesn't change the fact that the blue team is now ahead by 1 level in experience and is still pushing ahead here, with Thrall getting closer and closer to the second quest reward, which is of course going to give him the additional bounce and charge. So he's going to get a ton out of this. And then on top of that, once that you have your mythic reward, this is where the whole power of this talent is really being unfolded. And it's absolutely reasonable to get there. I mean, 100 is not that much if you're diligent about your lane presence. Level 10 is going to help teams out too. Siege Giants now at the bottom of the map for both of them. Still the chance on a Dragon Knight. Blaze sitting in the middle. He is probably going to have to sit there for a bit longer, and that allows Thrall to push the top lane even further in. Cassia is now taking over to make sure that Blaze can secure their top lane experience, or they would fall even farther behind. But down at the bottom of the map, that's where the red team is trying to make a step forward to take that shrine from their opponents, and so far it's not happening. Instead, Diablo is holding the ground as long as he can, was waiting for an assist, didn't get it. The Fruit Fly gets massacred by Hanzo. Big kill here. After they took down Diablo, now they put Cassia into a corner. That's 6 kills to 0. They got a level 10, and that's the push for Dragon Knight #1, and obviously also for the fort at the bottom of the map. Heroic abilities are in. That gives us the Dragon's Arrow. No Bloodlust, Ancestral Healing still taken, and we get Sundering for Thrall as the DK is roaming through the middle, and it's dire straits for the French team at this point. They are currently down 6 kills. They haven't gotten a single one yet themselves. They lost their fort at the bottom of the map, and they're getting punished in the middle as well. Down to the bot lane, still some Siege Giants active as Azzy is attempting to push them into the wall. Sven was sitting at the side here just hoping for a chance to jump over and get a good connect, but instead we're getting Junkrat kicked around a little bit. And it's open season on fort #2 with Team France just now barely getting their level 10 abilities, but it might be too late for the fort in the middle. Dragon Knight, 1 more Dragon's Breath. All they need is a bit of poke here, and that fort is gone. Huge success early on for Team Sweden. I mean, that was big. That was really big. But here's the counterplay attempt. Arrow and the Ancestral, the barbecue play from Diablo. But they can't get the kill. Diablo gets isolated as the flank comes in with Thrall. Gets the quick Sundering, and now Blaze is gone. So that's Diablo and Blaze both down. Hanzo still dishing out the pain here. And he's sitting at tons of damage already. Cassia gets killed too. Hanzo at 20,000 damage, 12,000 for Junkrat. And Team Sweden. I mean, damn son, they're going through the French like hot butter through brie. It is crazy over here. Yeah, if you want to check out also some hot butter through cheese, we have merch, don't forget. There's a link down in the description that you can have a look at too. But we also still might have the apron in stock. It actually ran out of stock the other day. Because as gamers know, if you actually have a hot butter through cheese apron, not just a mug, but an apron, your food tastes 10% better and you need to use 10% less ingredients. I mean, it's just how it works, as everybody knows. But yeah, best merch in the game, for sure. So, 13 is up. We got over on the right side. A 2-level discrepancy now, with France being on level 11. And that talent advantage gives us the mounted archery for Hanzo. So the 13 talents putting Sweden in an even better position. And they're kind of crushing this here. They're doing really well with this now. So at this point we're now having the next set of mercenaries claimed by the French. At least they were able to get that done, because if they were a bit late on that, I guarantee you that we would have seen an immediate move by the blue team to try and steal this away and utilize their advantage in level 13 talents. Now, Thrall is also still pushing for the quest completion on level 1. He's sitting at 75 stacks, so this is pretty decent progress for Whoopi. And having the pinnacle reward here is going to be big. But for the French to come back, they need some kills. And thus far, they haven't even been able to take a single hero out. Arrow at the bottom of the map misses. At the top, Brightwing is dead. And they're trying for more. They get Blaze, they get Cassia. It's just too much. Sweden is currently outclassing their opponents here. To be fair, this is the 3rd seed from France, but Sweden, they are just too, I mean, way too stable here. They are absolutely in sync. They're making play after play, and they are exploiting one mistake after another that is being made on the French team side. So it's a bit of a brutal start into the best of 5. Obviously, the French might be able to come back on a different map. Maybe they can come back here, but it's going to be a tall order one way or another. Because now we're nearly talking about, I mean, we are essentially in a moment talking about a 4-level gap. 2 talent advantage for the Blues. And another Dragon Knight. So after they've now eliminated every single fort on the opponent's side, they are heavily pulling ahead. That gives us also Thunderstorm for Whoopi, who has already pointed out previously, is doing really well on his stacks. And gets the Ancestral from Rhaegar, just as Team France thought they might be able to get a kill here. But now Sundering is coming in. There's the tether from Sven with Maiev. Diablo, Brightwing gets out, employs the French defense here and runs away from the fight. Gets out though, and alive at that. But it seems that we're going to see after Diablo also maybe Blaze for... he is able to get away. But that Dragon Knight was busy in the mid lane, took one of the towers down and opened up the rest. Don't forget, we're only 10 minutes in the game at this point. 10 minutes into the game, and Team Sweden is just at their throat. 13 kills to 0, and nearly a mythical reward for Thrall. Maiev at 34,000 damage. 16,000 is the top damage for the French team, and that's actually Blaze on the side lane. And with the wall opened up in the middle of the map, the Dragon Knight is now moving down to the bot lane. Will just basically work in another ability if he can, and that's the end of that. But things are looking absolutely spectacular for the Swedish team, at least in game number 1. Now, we have the quest for Thrall done, so that's huge utility now with the mythic reward. All of a sudden you can strike the same target, which for team fights is fantastic, and you also target an additional source, so this is actually really big. If you fight, let's say, around a shrine, there's only 2-3 heroes on the other side, they're going to take massive amount of damage thanks to through that. And we're going to see Thrall most likely now ramp up his hero damage. Thus far for Whoopi, siege damage was of course one of the most important things. Control the lanes, take the minions down, stack number 1. But here's where the damage really kicks in. You can already see that the poke is happening. Arrow comes out, they try Diablo again, the Valkyrie is dodged. And they're pushing them back here. And you can see how much they're suffering from Thrall. Thrall is at 33,000 damage all of a sudden. He's really pushing this up. Diablo is gone, taken down by him. Thunderstorm is for now at least completed, so even more utility for him. And yes, they are totally crushing this here. So there's a huge amount of pressure at the bottom of the map against the French team as their keep is being attacked. Diablo back since his baseline was stacked. So he came back immediately, but there's just damage, damage, and damage coming from Thrall in particular, as he's actually aiming for the number 1 spot in the damage department of the team. Right now, he is still behind Hanzo and behind Maiev, but it's only a matter of time until that changes from the looks of it. So Whoopi is absolutely crushing it here. Now they're going for Blaze, take him down. Blaze eliminated, the next play being made, and we still don't have level 16 for the French. They're still on level 15, and the bottom keeps taking damage. Team Sweden is moving in with everything they have here. 15 kills to 0. Absolutely nasty. They're sundering, and the kill against Hanzo. The poke is just crazy at this point. The moment that Thrall completed his quest, this just became so much more dangerous for the French whenever they are trying to just sit back and defend. And it's nearly impossible for them right now. Just a simple step forward, and all of a sudden Whoopi is in a position where he can help them to get another kill. Locks in Sundering and gets the job done with it. The keep at the bot lane now destroyed, leaving only 2 more standing for the French. And it's a dicey one. It's really not an easy game for them here. They have at least level 16 talents, so that means that for the time being it's even talents. That's also one of the reasons why Team Sweden isn't really willing to give them a fight. They might just attempt to draw this out a bit more until they have their own level 20 talents, because again, they would pull ahead with a huge margin and have a gigantic window where they can reign supreme with this. But yeah, off we go. We got still control here. Maiev is starting to come in. And the French are hoping to get at least 1 kill here. Let's start with baby steps. Let's get the first kill and then see if we can turn the game around, but it has to start somewhere. Here comes the Riptire. Arrow gets a triple connect. Where's that Sundering when you need it? Hold it back a little bit for now. Could still try and turn this around. Valkyrie is being used. They go for Stukov. And there it is. Finally. The first blood for the French. They lose Blaze and Junkrat though. And are getting pushed back despite the fact that Stukov was just eliminated. Given the double support lineup that they're rocking here, they of course still have sustain thanks to Rhaegar. Now they have their level 20 talents, which they're ruthlessly using. In the case of Thrall, that means we get Nexus Blades and then more heals from Rhaegar particularly. Bot lane, having the camps and the catapults, actually did damage to the core, broke through the shield while the fight was raging on the top. So now we have them on 79% on the core. But yeah, here comes the damage. Wubi again. Thrall by now. Still not top damage, by the way. So he's starting to get there, but he's still trailing. And Hanzo has been racking up more and more numbers during the last few fights. But the three of them, Maiev, Thrall and Hanzo, are really fighting this out. But it seems more and more likely that we're going to have a victory here for Hanzo when it comes to just the raw hero damage. Good move from Rhaegar once again. Stukov is now back, not with the team yet. Oh, but Wubi gets killed. 40% on the core, and the Whoopster gets eliminated. Alright. So, that one was big. The disc is out. They're trying to get a counter kill here. It's Dragon Knight time, by the way. Because we have, in the middle, Stukov starting to go for it. Arrow from Hanzo, this time missing. And, yeah, with 40% left on the core. I don't know. They could actually move straight back down, but it seems like they're trying to take down the keep first. So we have Brightwing attacked, and well, scratch the attack. Brightwing is murdered. Absolutely murdered. And the Dragon Knight goes straight for the core. Yeah, this is where it's going to end in game number 1. A nice lead for Team Sweden in this best of 5 series as they take the W on Dragonshire. GG and well played. I hope all of you guys are enjoying the Nations Cup. We have an epic event on hand right now and it's tons of fun. But please keep in mind that events like the Nations Cup, like Meta Madness, the Bounty Cup and many other tournaments that we've been running on the channel here to support Heroes Esports are only possible through either private supporters or campaigns that we have with partners on the channel. And right now we have a campaign going on where you can support the channel for free and with a minimum of investor time. All that you got to do is download Opera GX, which is a browser that has an integrated VPN, has tons of themes and other features that are directly targeted at gamers. But if you download the browser through the link below and install it, maybe watch a video too on YouTube, watch a live stream or just play around with it a little bit, that already is enough to support the channel here. I would really appreciate if you could take a few minutes of your time to do exactly that. As I said before, it's absolutely free, doesn't cost you anything, and I've actually seen quite a few people that then even switched over because they prefer the browser to others. Be it as it may, if you want to support the channel, there's an easy way to do it. So thank you very much in advance and enjoy the rest of the show today. Battlefield of Eternity, map number 2. So, Team Sweden with a bit of a bang here. Now again, to be fair, we are in the first round of the last chance qualifier, and this is the 3rd seed of France. They had a little bit of a struggle going into the game. They got some kills then towards the end, but Sweden was just too strong and now have the lead here. And, well, I'm actually joined by Trixler for the remainder of the series. One map. How long are you with us here?
I'm with you at least for this series and maybe a little bit of the next one too, because my other game got a massive patch. But I'm here for some HOTS, man. And honestly, I'm never gonna miss a chance to cast Wubby. I'm the biggest fanboy. I'm gonna try and keep it in control as we play.
I saw you started schooling people in chat. They're like, Kyoja was better, and you're like, actually.
That was a joke, by the way. I don't have an Excel sheet. I was just talking shit.
You were actually lying. Everybody believed
American,
you.
All right? I'm allowed to put some fake news out occasionally, all right? That's just how it works out here. I also felt like when we were watching the last match, the draft was just so much stronger for Dragonshire. Like, if you fell behind, it was going to be really, really rough. And so Sweden was able to pull ahead and really just kind of, like, handled it. Like, Diablo could not get the engages he was looking for. With the cleanses and with the slows coming in from Rhaegar. So we'll see if it's a bit better in game number 2. As BOE is definitely more combat oriented.
It was also kind of nice to see them go right off the bat with game number 1 for a strategy that most would probably not have really predicted here. Now, you can argue a little bit that maybe, you know, they're looking at the bracket and they're saying, okay, this is the easiest match that we're going to get on paper. You shouldn't underestimate an opponent, but at least when you're looking at the other opponents you will have to face if you want to qualify for Phase 2, then this is probably one of the lower concerns, and that they're saying, okay, we don't want to show anything else. We are not willing to play this against the second seed out of Sweden or against Team Russia that they might face off against later on. But so maybe that played a factor here too. You never know. But it was interesting to see them go for that double support, no real main tank, and then throwing the melee assassins in. So that was actually pretty cool.
Okay, well, we'll see how it all unfolds here. Obviously, when it comes to BOE, we always talk about one of the greatest characters to ever come out in Hear the Storm, Artanis, being a possibility that can get picked up. There's also, obviously, the staples of, like, Greymane, Hanzo, which can't be played because he was playing around number 1, and then, of course, Wallace has been banned out.
What's that? Real quick. I just had to go for the Bloomch real quickly. I was a bit delayed because I didn't realize you made that joke until it already hit, but yeah, good job.
One day, I will have him win on stream in front of you, and you will have to admit some defeat, brave and bold Khaldor.
I just want him changed. I just want him buffed. Yeah. Like, honestly, people are always like, why do you hate Artanis? I don't. He just sucks in competitive. That's all. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I don't like. I want them to buff him. I want them to make him so that he actually has value, at least of Battlefield of Eternity, and can get a good win rate here in tournament play. But so far, they've been ignoring the poor guy for years. It's a shame.
They should give him a mythic quest that after he hits somebody 500 times, the laser automatically comes out and starts burning the opposing tank. That would be sick.
The mythic quests are actually kind of fun. We had, the other day, we had in the... Dude, like, we had in one of the tournament matches now, to be fair, it was one-sided, but we had Muradin complete his quest. Dude, that quest completion was insane. That Stormbolt is just everything at that point. Like, the range alone was crazy. So, yeah, some of the mythic rewards and mythic quests, I actually like them. We get Jimmy. Nice. So they're going very likely for Exterminator on level 1, and then we have Tyrande too. So you have a Hunter's Mark and Exterminator as they're trying to burn the Immortal down. But yeah, damn.
Yeah, and with Jimmy, you want peel for sure, right? You want to make sure that you can't be jumped on, and Urel's going to be bringing that. They, of course, have left a little bit more room for the tank to get picked later on. Like, ETC could be wonderful in this composition. I think Nubarek and Urel usually do get paired together due to her being able to throw some armor on him with some talents, but we'll see if that is going to be the choice, as Garrosh has been deleted. We are missing some damage, though, for Team France. What is available and up? You know, you still got Sergeant Hammer, still got Greymane laying around. Sergeant Hammer would feel pretty good with the Diva Muradin composition because he can kind of control space well.
Chromie from range would also work. But by the way,
good point.
Just before we're heading into their picks, one quick reminder. We have Urel taken by Wooby. So that already is like one of Wooby's best right there. But that also means that you need to prepare because we're going to need goat facts. Do you, by the way, know how you screwed me with that? Every single time that you're not casting with me and there's a Urel, there's at least one guy on YouTube is like, where are my goat facts? There are no goat facts here. Khaldor dropping the ball again. That's not my thing. That was always Tim's thing. So, like, stop hounding me with the goat facts. That's only when the Trixler is in the house, then we're going to get goat facts.
When I'm unavailable, Khaldor, you need to pick up my slack. And believe me, I have a lot of slack to pick up. So I'm going to need you to work harder being the savior of HOTS over here.
Greymane Whitemane is what we're getting. That's where you have your immortal damage. So no mage yet, so we could still see that. But yeah, with Greymane they have at least Worgen form against immortals. It's still a wild comp, like Muradin Diva over here, and then now that we're having the Swedes with an early pick on Reyna, I'm really curious what they're gonna pick next. Okay, we get Jaina as well, and ETC, so lots of first.
Looking for that ETC. I need a little bit more damage. Honestly, I'm kind of like leaning towards an Alarak a little bit here. Help out with combos, help out with poke. If you can find Jaina or Raynor, get them out of position. Greymane can eat them up. And also, you have a great amount of protection here. You have Whitemane with her Aegis. You have Diva and Muradin can really just control space north and south, and Greymane can just go to town. Other than that, what are you thinking, Khaldor? What would fit in this comp?
Deathwing would be great here.
Oh my god, Khaldor, you're an insane
timing,
caster.
amazing.
It's Deathwing. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, make sure to drop a like and comment because your boy Khaldor delivers every single time.
Incredible timing. Battlefield of Eternity, everybody. So map number 2 in the best of 5. Let's get this started. Sweden against Team France. Game number 2, Team Sweden. In blue on the left, we're going to Battlefield of Eternity, everybody. We got Captain Rex on Jaina, Sven on ETC, Whoopi is playing Urel. We got Galnigul now on Tyrande, and then Azzy going into Veteran Marksman, actually, on level 1. So no Exterminator, going full on the auto attacks here. On the right, we got the opponents, Team France.
That's right. Leader on Muradin, Splice on Diva, Drock on Deathwing, Saren on Whitemane, and Lolum on Greymane.
The name always makes me laugh, and I don't know why.
Lolum.
How are these weird, like, isn't there like these, oh god, these cutesy dolls or whatever, lollies or something?
Labubus.
No, Labubu
Labubus. My friend Katie got me one for Christmas. They are...
You are joking, right?
No, I seriously have one. So I don't know where it's at, but it's somewhere in the house. Yeah, they're kind of expensive, dude. I saw them in Thailand, and they were like 600 baht, which is kind of expensive.
I know, they're freaking scam. It's basically like one of these, like, collect them all, and then people drop tons of money on them. It's ridiculous. It's one of those things that I just absolutely don't understand. This is like, why on God's green earth would you go for something
Pokemon,
like this?
man. You just gotta let them have it. 6-7, bro. 6-7. As our waves are being pushed in dramatically, 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top. It looks like we're gonna have a fort exchange, Khaldor.
I absolutely love this. When we have fort exchanges, it just means teams are accelerating the game. And I love that. It just gets so much faster, and the aggression comes in so much quicker. So I actually don't mind that at all. It's a little bit annoying for Azzy, maybe, that he doesn't get good opportunities to stack his level 1, but they are committed right now. They can't just move topside and defend. So both of the teams are going to take a fort down here. And that sets us off at the 1.5 minute mark with basically 2 forts already gone. So yeah, pretty big.
Yeah, fort gone on the top, fort gone at the bottom, and usually this comes down to the lack of wave clear in the early game. You kind of have to level up a little bit, get those stats going for it. And if you find that you have decent damage dealers when it comes to forts, so on one end we got Raynor, on the other hand we got Greymane, you want to try and take out those forts. So that's why we have that exchange occurring. We are rushing towards level 4 right now. And you'll have probably a bit of a swap, but we're going to wait until we have the actual Immortal spawning and go from there. Just grab the camps and keep accelerating towards those talents, as Khaldor was talking about.
One of the problems when you're finding yourself in one of those exchanges of structures in the earlier stages of the game is also you don't have a choice anymore. If your opponent or you don't have a significantly... let's say if the lane push and the speed with which you can destroy structures is roughly the same, you are basically committed to just keep pushing, because your option is to try and rotate towards the top lane to defend. But by the time you're there, you have taken tons of damage already, no matter what happens. And so if a situation like this occurs, it's just the only thing that you really can do. First blood, on the other hand, though, so Tyranda's down, and in the top lane we have more and more damage coming in against the blue team. So it seems like the French are set up a little bit better for game number 2 compared to what we've seen on Dragonshire.
Yeah, keeping up with those rotations there. Also keeping Diva alive in the top side. Saren's gonna come over and provide some healing. Diva does not have her mech form though, so they will have to skedaddle, but Leader doing a great job of keeping an eyes on that top lane so he can come over and buy her enough time. Okay, Immortal phase here. We have Greymane immediately on the Immortal here. He'll be able to go into his Worgen form and start chewing on through, but Wubby wants to change that plan as he steps up, but a Dragon drops in as Deathwing is here to show up. Ooh, Tyrande hitting the Lunar Flare. Saren will provide some heals, but now they turn around and look at Wubby and also peel out the back line.
As he's struggling a bit here, had good positioning the entire time, but they're trying to isolate him from the rest of the team. He's getting more stacks together now, though. This is one of those fights where he can finally put those auto attacks to some good use and stack it up, but they're losing ground on the objective. With them just all defending, they're definitely having a problem. Now, there is a camp pushing for the blue team at the bottom of the map. They're at least getting value there, and they're getting the stacks for Raynor, but still, it is Team France that is currently heavily in the lead on the Immortal.
Yeah, but Leader's out of mana here, and he won't be able to jump out. They are going to be around and get ETC, but Muradin has also gone down, and Drock is currently low on Deathwing. Raynor's trying to chase him, and will get the last auto attack, and the Dragon has been picked off. Diva on the top left was attempting to harass the back line, but Wubby right now is just buying a lot of space here for Team Sweden. Okay, so a few kills do come in. The lead is still available for Team France, but it looks like Sweden's going to be able to answer back here and start getting some damage on their Immortal as Azzy Raynor here starts to auto-attack.
Half a level lead now with level 7 in for the blue team, but yeah, they just took Diva down too. And it's going to get a lot closer than I initially expected. Now we have Deathwing dropping in from above as well. Wooby, as usual, with Urel just absolutely superb, trying to buy some time for the team. And this is a close one. I mean, holy, 11 hit points! 11 hit points, and the French take it.
The French take it with 11 HP, which means they will get 11 shield, and they're looking to try and get Sven here. I think Sven should be able to kite out, especially if his power slide does pop up. And yes, he does make it to safety. But a small baby Immortal will be pushing the bottom lane. And the real story here is that Immortal is probably not going to do too much damage on the bottom, which means this lead and experience that Sweden has, if they can hold on to this, they'll hit level 10 before their opponents on the next Immortal phase. So let's see what happens down here on the bottom lane. Yeah, not looking like much, Khaldor.
Yeah, but Azzy can use this position to stack a bit further. He's now at 21 stacks, it's not too shabby, so considering that initially he wasn't able to get anything done because they just pushed for the forts, he is now really taking advantage of all these skirmishes. And they've been trying to go for him, but he's still alive and kicking, and he's getting more and more work done here. 24 stacks, damage output is at 16,000, that's top for the team. Deathwing still has more than he does, but that's a very nice start into the game for him now, all things considered. So Jimmy could become a huge problem as the game continues.
Wow, that was such a close Immortal phase. Okay, so...
I mean, 11 HP. I know I've had once... I can't remember if this is the lowest that we ever had. But I mean, it's one way or another, it's very close.
And we've been around this game for years, man. This game came out in 2014, right? So it's 12 years, and that may have been the closest we have possibly seen. Sven on the top left, Wubby over here, attempting to get on top of this D.Va, but D.Va should be able to squeeze her mech out just in time. There it is. Gunnar now becomes a focus. The leader continues to chase down. He's getting those auto attacks on Murden, trying to finish off that quest, while Wubby just chased down the other support here as Saren has ran away, and he's running low on his mana, so he's going to be having a rough time. But look at this, the bottom lane. A massive push happening as Hyperion's be popped for this keep. It's down to 50%, but Drock HS is going to be able to get here and help clear out the minion waves.
It's the level 10 advantage. Yeah, just ruthlessly exploiting it right now. They're trying to go for D.Va too. At the bottom, ETC falls, and Deathwing gets killed by Jimmy. Ooh. Wooby also eliminated, so Urel died, but to be fair, they got a lot out of this. They were able to push to the bottom of the map. They got half the HP on the keep. Now Tyrande falling. That's putting more and more kills into the hands of Team France. And the advantage, of course, for the red team is now that they have a numbers advantage on the map. They have level 10 abilities. They could steal the camp away. Azzy with a nice dodge on the Stormbolt. Or he would have died, but he might... Oh, nice penetrating round. Actually makes it. Good for him.
Yeah, if they would have gotten that Rainer kill, that means he would have been up for the Immortal phase. This would have been easy pickings for France, so him staying alive will allow him to tap and come on back. But France does take this lead and start to work on the Immortal phase. Captain Rex in the top left corner here comes in with the Water Elemental. Here's the happiness bubble coming out from Urel, as it looks like Sweden wants to start a fight.
Sweden is definitely looking for the battle now. They don't want to lose another Immortal. They've done great at the bot lane, but they need a bit more here. Lots more kills in this game now, though, for France than before. And they're coming in again. They're taking out Jaina. Greymane dies, but they're turning on Tyrande and take her down too, as he gets pushed back as Deathwing starts to approach here. And it's looking better and better for Team France.
Saren able to stay alive, though. He is getting low on mana on the back left. Wubby comes in and boom, right on top of D.Va is going to be able to take him out. Drock chasing down the back line. They're trying to create a little bit of space here to maybe get this halftime show to be procced off. With no Greymane being available, though, that damage is not really available. Murden actually has to go in and start going for those auto attacks. Drock is probably going to get picked off here. Yes, he is, and now he is down for 24 seconds. And Sweden now has all 5 on the field, but they are behind on the Immortal race.
They're behind on the Immortal, but I'm still keeping the entire time the stacking progress and, an observation that we have on Jimmy. And Jimmy is turning more and more into a beast. They're 8 minutes in. 42 stacks, 37 on the Behemoth armor. He's solid here. So he's really doing a great job also just like hiding around Deathwing the entire time and is fully aware of all of the cooldowns that he has to pay attention to. Stage dive! Sven going deep on this one. Comes in with a big slide. Deathwing says hello too. It's a 5 versus 5 again. And Sweden tries to take the Immortal.
Wubby on that front line just trying to create a little space here so Sweden can work on that Immortal here. Just buying as much time. Pounces once again. Will hit Greymane and gets him nice and low. Goes for the knockback. Tries to get the instant mount, but he is going to get picked off. But Sweden is able to grab the Immortal, and that is going to help them out as that will be pushing the top lane and will buy them time to clear out that wave in the top left corner. Close fights between Sweden and France here on BOE.
much closer game now than what happened on Battlefield of Eternity. I mean, it's a completely different story. We can still argue that Sweden, with that victory in the 1-level advantage, has now taken a lead and will, well, potentially take down the fort at the top, even though they're a bit late to that party, so it might not happen. But the French are looking way better here. 8 kills in total now. Good damage output from Deathwing in particular. The defense and map control might be slightly trailing behind, but the red team is just looking like... Maybe game number 1 was just, you know, they needed a bit of a warm-up game here. Who knows, but they're looking much stronger now as the series continues.
Yeah, you brought up that damage. And Drak is at 40k, so is Raynor. Oh, but Wubby comes over, helps out with the kill from Azzy. Azia, he is continuing to scale up. You are not kidding about these stacks that are coming in from Raynor. Look at this, just chunking through with the help of Jaina and ETC, chasing down Sauron. And Jimmy is here, man, and he is fully alert. Look at this man, stutter stepping. This guy is straight up a turret and a turret defense. Next, we have the D.Va on the back left. She's put into a corner here. Splice trying to find the kill. Can't get the last auto attack and is finally going to go ahead and stop with the chase. No, Wubby wants a little bit more. Here comes Hyperion as the Raynor is looking to just start cooking this keep.
Finally, they killed him. I mean, at this point, he went way too deep, and I think he knew it too. He was just like, okay, I'm unkillable, and yeah, maybe got a bit of hubris there towards the end. But now that he has his level 13 talent, he can just latch onto them so much more aggressively, and he has 59 stacks. He's a monster. Now, they're still trading kills here, 14 to 10, but the red team is, at least for now, on the run. They successfully damaged both of the keeps on the red team side, who can still make their way back here. They maintain that gap of 1 level continuously, but they have to also attempt to exploit advantages when they have them on the map, because very soon they're going to be behind in talents, and then it's going to be tricky again. So Sweden will likely try to use that window of opportunity when they hit 16. Question is just simply, what exactly can they do with it?
And I'm enjoying France's strategy here. They're kind of kiting backwards, letting Murden do his thing. Whenever he gets low on HP, he comes back to white main. And then really the main indicator for when they want to fight so far has been Deathwing. Whenever he pops his ultimate, flies on in. That is where we see the chase occurring. And they're really following up quite well. They need to do maybe a better job of catching and protecting Greymane here, because Greymane is struggling so far. Wubby's able to hop in and really control him. So maybe a false engagement and then turn around and kill Wubby could be good in their cards. But they have to be careful because of that bubble shield. But here we go, Immortal phase time.
Now we got 40 stacks also now for Murden, so that means that he now has his Pierce and his cooldown reduction on it. So that's, for the team fights that we've seen so far, is going to really help him if he is able to get that double stun in. Jimmy on 16 now with Bounty Hunter, which is the next one that we're getting here. And yeah, it's going to be crazy how much damage he's going to do. The red team needs to find a way to deal with him. If they can jump on him with Murden and Deathwing, get some stuns through and then burn him down, that would be fantastic. But we'll see if that's possible for them. If they don't find a way to deal with him, he's going to be more and more of a problem for them as all of this continues. He's already sitting at 50,000 damage essentially. Takes down D.Va here, and particularly Deathwing and Murden are going to hate the guy from here on. I mean, look how quickly he burns Tyrande down.
Sweden really locked into what France has been trying to do with these team fights and spread out incredibly well, from the D.Va bomb into the Deathwing engage as well, and just nothing really connected. And France needed to make a call to be like, all right, it's time to back up. We hit nothing with our abilities, and they just didn't do it. Sweden spread out so well, and they dominated this team fight because of it. Now, they did buy a little bit of time because Greymane was able to sneak off and go to the Immortal in the top side, which will buy them some time on the next Immortal if they do lose it. But France's engage there was just really rough. They're going to need a better one next fight.
And then we get the kill. Okay, Greymane now also dying, but for me, it was really the chase of Reyna against Deathwing just a moment ago. That level 13 talent with the movement speed advantage, I mean, damn. 70 stacks now, 65 on the Behemoth armor, an absolute monster. As having a field day, being assisted early on by the team to get the stacks, and now this situation. They're already pushing for the core, as we're just having the Immortal taken, and yeah, they are just crushing things. Finally, we have 16 at a minimum for Team France, but it might be too late for them to turn the game around here. It's a 2-level difference now between the teams.
Deathwing is on comms with his team right now, and he's like, I didn't know Raynor was a raid boss. What? From World of Warcraft. He's from StarCraft. What's going on here? And Raynor is definitely filling that raid boss role right now, just building fully into traits. We're at level 18 3/4 to 16 1/4 at the moment, and France now has to begin a miracle defense here. Splice in the top left, holding out for the teammates. Here comes the ETC stage dive. Deathwing in the back left. Sven doing everything he can here to get on top of that gray main. And here comes Drock dropping down the fire. Can they do something here?
Jimmy is having an absolute field day. It's ridiculous the damage that he currently puts out, and obviously he's still maintaining more and more stacks. Dances around Deathwing. Another big hit and kill. Doesn't even have level 20 yet. He's an absolute monster. The keep is gone. The core at 60% as the catapults are firing away here too. It's disaster for France as Sweden is on their way to another victory. 80,000 damage by now for Jimmy, and Whoopi takes it together with the Immortal. A 2-0 advantage in the best of 5 for Sweden. (2-0) in the best of 5. We got a big lead for the Swedish team and an opportunity to win the series. Now, quick reminder, this is a single elimination bracket. If Sweden takes it here, then France is out. And on paper, at least, I would say that the first seed from Sweden is one of the teams that definitely has good chances to make it into the next phase of the tournament by winning this last chance qualifier. But they got a couple of tough opponents. This is obviously just the first round, so we'll see how they do. But now we're heading into Tomb of the Spider Queen. The question remains, can Sweden take another one? Or will Team France start a comeback here?
I do believe they got it in them. We were talking about it in between the broadcast. Game number 1 was a bit of a stomp. I just think it kind of came down to like draft and, you know, how well it was controlled by Team Sweden. But in game number 2 on BOE, we had some great engagements. Drock in particular on the Deathwing was able to really turn fights around with the aid of his team. So if we can get a nice win here, France could steal away the momentum, which is pretty massive in a best of 5 series.
And obviously, a quick reminder, we have now seen 2 matches played, or 2 games played. So 20 heroes have been played and cannot be played again. Every hero can only be played once. So this is going to have a bit of an impact here. Nothing too crazy, but if you're making it to a 4th, 5th map, it's obviously going to matter a little bit more. So we'll see how they're going to do here for now. Mephisto banned out. Obviously Jojo, an absolute top pick on Tomb of the Spider Queen, has also been eliminated. Maybe not that obvious, because Sweden could have actually decided that they themselves are going to take her as a first pick. Quick reminder that Falstad hasn't been played yet, so if he's not getting banned now, then an early pick into Falstad would allow for some really nice stacks on Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's actually crazy how much you can stack your quest if you pick Falstad on this map, and this time he hasn't been banned out, so there's a chance.
Usually I feel like if you're going to ban Johanna and you have first pick, you're basically asking yourself, do you want to play Chromie, right? Because Johanna and Chromie coming together is wonderful in this map. You get the wave clear, you get the engages you want, you get the delays around the point. It just becomes very, very hard. It looks like Sweden does not want to go the route as they actually move into Avala. So we'll see if that Chromie is still viable here for Team France. But yeah, you typically want to have like really quick wave clear. That first turn-in is so important. You want to start getting those forts burned down, start working on the turrets, and really opening up the map for macros. So we'll see what France wants to do to align with that strategy.
I feel like the new talents for Falstad have put us now in a position. Falstad, by the way, gets taken immediately as Team Sweden neglected to pick him. But now that you have Falstad with such a heavy auto attack build, it oftentimes is just a question of why would you actually pick any other auto attacker and not him. So it's a bit crazy.
Sure.
But it's kind of cool that as he picks Vala, he just played Reyna on the last map, and we've seen how well that worked, and now he's trying to do the same thing essentially with Vala, I suppose. But we get Medivh, always nice. Hate play. Oh, and we get Malfurion. So they're also... they're not really picking anything away. Malfurion is obviously one of the best counters against Medivh. Well, counters in the sense that you can make it more difficult for the opponent to use portals, because Medivh just puts the root on them. So it's not like a hard counter anything of the sorts. But again, anything that controls portal space well is something to be used against Medivh. Highly unlikely, though, that Team France would have gone for it in the first place, because they've already picked their support. They're already playing Anduin here.
kind of curious what tank they're going to go for, because ETC is unavailable. Garrosh could be good. Typically, you want to have a Diablo with a Medivh, but Diablo was also already played in the first round between these two. Oh, Stitches, yeah.
You have the root.
Capture comp.
You got the portal, so you could actually play that. You just get your Gorge, you go for a Kidnap combo, you have Malfurion for root on the ground, Vala for the damage.
Yeah.
You throw in another burst damage dealer, and all of a sudden you got something. I'm actually a bit surprised that they banned Uther on the other side and didn't ban Stitches, just to make sure that they don't have to deal with that. Because just the chance that you have to go up against it would annoy me. But, that's why. They pick it themselves. Okay, that makes perfect sense now. All right.
I was wondering, like, yeah, you get Stitches. Could Zool still be an option too? We're needing some wave clear. You need to get your Bone Prison. Like, it's not really that great with Medivh, but it's always been a solid backup tank on this map.
I was shocked that they banned Uther. I was like, okay, Uther main tank maybe. I get it. That would be annoying too. Then you have a double support and Medivh, so maybe they're worried about that. But I was like, that draft screams synergy with Stitches. And Kidnap combo, why would you go up against that? And now them picking it for themselves and stealing it, that makes sense. But yeah, Chen and Zool. Chen, main tank. We've seen that from Capybara on the Korean side with high success and an amazingly annoying playstyle. Absolutely love seeing it. And this is apparently what they're trying to mirror here. And your Zool is getting picked too.
And you also want options available to you if a Stitches hook does come out and if they do go Gorge. And Chen is great at diving into a fight, so he can actually show up, dive on the Stitches, maybe even go Wandering Keg and back that Stitches up into it. Leoric will be a nice round out here for Team France, giving them wave clear and also engage themselves with an Entomb. I'm liking the drafts for both of our teams.
Game number 3, everybody. Could be the last map of the match, or the French are starting to bring it back. Let's find out. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Game number 3, Team Sweden in blue over on the left side, ladies and gentlemen. We got Azzy on Vala, Sven on Medivh, Captain Rex on Malfurion, we got Galnagulnar on Chen, and Wooby plays Zool for the blue team.
And Team France currently on their tournament life. Leader on Stitches, Splice on Leoric, Drak on Kael'thas, Sauron on Anduin, and Lum playing Falstad. And they need this win, Khaldor.
Yeah, it's all about auto attacks here. As we already expected, Vala went straight in with auto attacks, and the same is also true for Falstad as he went into frequent flyer. So, time to see how they're going to play this all out. More stacks even, as we currently have for Stitches, hungry for more on level 1. Makes me always a little bit sad in this map in particular that we don't get Alexstrasza, but like, hey, I can totally understand the Anduin pick here, and he is generally speaking the better support for sure. But yeah, Alexstrasza Stitches is just kind of fun to watch and see how Stitches becomes more and more of a monster that is unkillable in the later stages of the game.
They've started zooming around the map and like, geez, man, this guy is fast. Hook comes out, Wubby being hit here. There is a portal thrown down, but Wubby gets picked off as the leader is able to land a hook. Also in the bottom lane, Splice taking some damage. Gunner thinking about diving forward, but decides against it as he does get to the safety of the turrets.
Yeah, I thought for a second that he's actually done. It looked like this is going to be the end of him. Falstad is obviously working his stacks. The same is true for Vala. And I am still a little bit shocked that they didn't go for the birdie themselves. Falstad is just such an absolute monster when it comes to this map, simply because he can rotate between the lanes and get his stacks for frequent flyer very quickly and boost his auto attack damage. But they believed in Vala over the birdie, and now they're using her at the bottom of the map together with Chen and the Siege Giants to break through a few towers. So structurally, already a pretty nice play here for the blue team.
Yeah, this was a nice reaction from Sweden. France was pushing the top lane because they killed Zool, who is a massive part of the wave clear for this composition. So they decided to push in for the turrets on the top side. And so they couldn't really rotate over and wave clear that well enough, so they went to the bottom lane instead to work on the turrets. And that does force all of France to come down and deal with a giant push coming in, which slows down that initial impact they had in that first pick. Ooh, Splice getting low on HP, does have fire attached to him, is going to be able to walk away for the moment.
I mean, good for Leo. He definitely knows where his limit is. This is now the second or third time already that he was insanely low but made it out of the fight. So hasn't died yet. Vala, I mean, as he has already shown in game number 2 that on auto attackers he really excels. He did a fantastic job with Jimmy. And now very early on in the game, he's sitting at 48 stacks on level 1. So it's actually working in the first quest reward, which will boost his damage a little bit further. And he can be aggressive. He has Medivh plus then also Malfurion. And as long as Medivh really pays attention and gets those shields and portals out, he's going to be totally fine. And yeah, Sven has up to now played a great game on this, so that's definitely going to make it easier for Azzy.
I love players that are good at auto-attacking. As we watch in the top lane, poor Stitches is just stuck, rooted, slept, you know, sat on, body block. Ooh, can they deny these gems? Oh, wow, if they deny those gems, they're actually quite massive in the early game. It looks like they're going to be able to deny those as they could not move up and step those. But back to the point earlier, stutter stepping, man, is such an art, dude. Like, I wish there was a poster, you know, those, like, motivation posters that are all black. I would wish I had one that just had stutter stepping is art. And it's got a picture of someone that's, like, really good at kiting, because it's such a good tool in MOBAs, man. And so I'm glad that you pointed that out from our Vala player, because it is something that I think a lot of people could always keep working on.
Yeah, positioning as well. So far, it's been going well for them. And the thing is, he can also capitalize on the fact that they have a few tools in the game where they can chase down opponents quickly. Not only the portals from Medivh, but we're talking the root from Malfurion, and we've seen also Zul lock them down. So it was perfectly actually visualized when Stitches was attacked at the top lane, because he just couldn't move. He couldn't get away. Once that they latched onto him, he was just gone. And if you're in a situation as Vala where you can all of a sudden just weave auto attack after auto attack in a situation like that, you're just in a great spot. So that was fantastic to get some stacks in. And if they make more plays like it, then they're going to be in a stellar position throughout all of it.
Well, speaking of position right now, both our teams are very similar in experience. 7 just now hitting for Team France as they are fighting for this turn-in that is occurring. There is 45 gems actually dropped off for Sweden as they are looking to open up this map, and they kind of need to with their wave clear pretty much being baked fully into Zul. Speaking of Zul, engaged here on the top left side, there's that root that they were talking about. Very, very hard to get into that. Malfurion, if he spaces well, can have very awesome control. Gunnar now on the bottom side is trying to drop off his 11 gems, but he is delayed by Leorg at the last second.
And a nice hook against Medivh. He's at 38 stacks, or was at the moment. So if he would have died to a Stitches hook at that point, that would have been, it would have been frustrating for him to no end. But Sven plays is super solid, has at 4 minutes and 30 seconds his quest completed. So really nice position for him to be in. They even lock in a kill against Leoric finally at the bot lane. And they got plenty of gems, so they can finish off their turn in and maybe get some web weavers going. There's nice damage against the opponent's structures already, and up to now at least, they made sure that the red team couldn't get web weavers of their own. So here's objective number 1 for Sweden. They have a 1 level advantage roughly, and already a lot of pressure at the bottom of the map. I mean, that fort is going to go down here for sure.
Yeah, these Giants have been pivotal. They've been really on top of the timings for them, and the Giants, if they are left uncontested, you see them. They just, these rocks chunk down forts. And the biggest win here, you already talked about it, is them having these web weavers coming in. Typically, the first web weaver turn in doesn't result in much, maybe a wall or two, but now this fort going down will give them a boost in experience, and they are committing to it. You see them already around the area. You see France has to bring everybody down just to control that, and they go, okay, well, if you want to go ahead and defend that, we'll go to other lanes and start to open up those walls. A textbook macro play happening here for Team Sweden.
Yeah, and the aggression shifted towards the top. The fort at the bot lane is going to be eliminated at one point or another anyway, so this is just a matter of time. Now Leo goes down, and they're breaking through this too. They have level 10. This obviously makes all of this just so much worse for the French. It's a 1 level advantage. Heroic abilities are in there. There's still some web weavers. You are experiencing pressure at the bottom of the map. Now here at the top, the fort goes down. Another one is going to be taken apart eventually. I mean, either there's going to be the side lane that pushes it in, or we're just going to see a quick Medivh rotation. Vala is at 97 stacks. Medivh is already done with this quest. The nice thing is that at least Lolom on Falstad is getting also good stacks in, so the first quest reward has been accomplished, and he's waiting for the 150 stacks now for a second damage boost. But they need something, and they still don't have level 10!
Oh, stutter stepping is art, man! He walks right into the middle of the fight, puts some pressure on top of Saren, who can't go for a leap of faith on multiple members, as Medivh was able to land the leyline sight. Great job from Team Sweden finding another pick. Now, good news is here, level 10 is up and available for Team France, but they gotta stop dying, man. They need a moment to come back in this game and get their entire arsenal together, but they keep stuttering deaths, and that's more gems lost. Oh no, Saren got him at the last second. Okay.
Yeah, they actually picked him up at least. But still, it's still rough. I mean, again, they lose Falstad, now they lose the fort. This is the first objective, and they lost every single fort. They go for Chen. Light bomb timing is good. Can they get the kill? Yes, they can. Yes. Nice.
Great job of layering that CC. If there was a half a beat of a second for Chen to get into that portal, he would have been out of there. Even a couple of ultimates being used there from Sweden to try and save him. But now with Chen down, this gives a little bit of wiggle room to France, and they want to get a turn, and they really want to open up this map here. Hook comes out. It's going to be on Medivh. Gravity Lapse misses, but maybe it doesn't matter. Force of Will, and he lives just with a smidgen of health.
That's actually insane that he survived that. They were so on point and so in sync with their abilities. It really felt this is a guaranteed kill, but he somehow was able to get that last hit in, or that, well, sorry, that shield out in that one part of a second. So that was pretty awesome. Nice escape from Sven. Pretty much flawless here, and now we have at least Web Weavers for the red team, so let's see what they can do. It's obviously disastrous how many structures they lost on the first objective for the Swedish team, but right now they have at least a chance to fight back and mitigate it a little bit. They go for Chen again, Gorge, Light Bomb, all out already, and yeah, the timing completely obliterated by that ley line, and Chen makes it out.
Hook to try and save Anduin. That may have actually worked here. He turns around, gives the Holy Light off, and despite the timing being slightly off, the teamwork and comms seem to be really there. While I'm trying to deal with Wubby. Wubby popping down the shield here, trying to evade some of this damage, just lifestealing like crazy with his W, but after he is being split by 5 members, he is finally going to get picked off. Web Weavers in the top lane are pushing, but France may have chosen a little bit more than they can chew off. They don't have their healer anymore.
To be fair, they destroyed a lot of gems on the other side. That's 33 lost for Whoopi, and nobody was able to pick that up. So now we have 6 kills to 4, still that level 13 advantage for the blue team. The Web Weavers didn't do enough damage though. There's a bit of damage against the fort at the top lane, but now they're also losing Chen. They at least get a counter kill against Stitches. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird spot. Falls that flies and apparently wants the angle. They're looking for a kill on Vala, and that's an important one. If they can at least get that, then the answer is apparently no. Take those 30 gems away and kill Vala to also take one of her Gambit stacks, and you know this might actually be worth it, but they're just not getting enough Ws here.
Furion is constantly providing that tranquility, just making it really hard to lock down that Vala. And also, when you've pointed out that Azzy has great stutter stepping, but I am loving the aggression that he can do with that as well. That was a situation that was technically a 2v3, and he saw a opportunity to go for Kalthos and just ran it down on him at full HP. That forced false that used the Mighty Guts, and they couldn't find the kill on him. Man, the aggression that he is able to pull off on Vala has been very inspiring. But there are a lot of gems here for Team France, and if they can get that turn in, they can certainly open up this map. But look at this, a boss play being done at the top.
Interestingly enough, with Whoopi dying and losing more than 30 gems, it means that now Team France has more gems than Team Sweden. So they're closer to the second turn in. And they're trying to get it right now. But I still don't think that they have any idea about the boss play at the top, or at least at the time where they were pushing for that turn and they didn't. Now they obviously know, so it's likely going to end up with an easy defense on both sides. One team defends against the objective and the other deals with the boss. Lolom, 150 stacks, he's there, so now he gets his extra damage in. Good for him. Might be able to take that boss out pretty easily together with the Web Weavers and then join the rest of the team. But up until that happens, it's a 5 versus 4.
Drak able at the Gravity Lapse here as Shin was looking for a full engage, wanted to drop down that Wandering Keg. But none of that really becomes available. Now, France has to chill for a second here. They need to grab as many gems as they can, but also keep their experience going up because they want to build towards that level 16. Splice low on HP, but he can run back to Saren just in time. Nice coordination while Fallsnap soaks the top lane. 15 just hits for France, and ultimately, with all said and done, that Web Weaver turn in didn't really do much but stop Sweden from pushing forward, which can be a win in its own way.
Bought them a little bit more time, for sure. And again, they can of course also stack. Talking stacks, we have Stitches now at 20, so he has a bit more of a movement speed advantage over the opponent's team as well. But here comes the move for Medivh. Instantly, Chen with a keg trying to isolate Kalthas. They're trying to trade kills here. Whoopi is a little bit low too, but can move out with the portal. They're turning on Kalthas again, drops the Phoenix, but yeah, he's done. He's completely isolated for the team. They're not even trying to help him. They know he is gone. So that's another kill for the blue team. And now 168 stacks for Vala, who obviously has access to Manticore by now and is boosting her damage even further. Falstad with really nice numbers too. But they are still struggling a bit in these fights. Like, the game is still being dominated by Sweden all in all.
Yeah, I feel like that fight could have been a lot worse for Team France, but then just sacrificing Kalthos, who beforehand, by the way, dropped off all the gems that he had on him. So they lost 3 in that exchange, and honestly, it's not that bad. It bought them some time. got them to move back and defend and build towards 16. Now, big issue is that Sweden was able to finally get enough gems for this turn-in, and with them having a night camp in the middle of the lane here, they can really exert some pressure.
16 talents are super close now, and then it's finally... I mean, it's a big upgrade also, for example, for Anduin. So now they have a shot at actually fighting this, but it's a 2-level gap, so they need a fight. They need to force something here. Can't just simply sit tight on that. But yeah, we get the Web Weavers for the blue team, so let's see how much damage Sweden can do. The first one was amazing and got them 3 forts. Now it's turn in number 2 for them, and maybe a shot to take down a keep of the game already. They're certainly aggressively pushing through the mid lane right now, which also forces all of the defenders in here. Chen again with some space, but very early ult from him. But that Entomb also did have absolutely nothing.
And he did force the Leap of Faith as well from Anduin, so at least one of those charges are now down. Middle lane gets cleared out, and there was some heroics used. Oh, actually a hook over the corner here. It's going to be on the Chen, which is sadly not quite the target you want, but they're going to start working on the auto attacks and get him nice and low in HP. Bleeder finally finds a Wubby and puts him in his mouth, trying to run away, gets a Leap of Faith. He is between a keep and a core. Can they get the damage out? Looking pretty solid there, and they do find a pick. But they got to get these mini waves dealt with. There's some on the top side and some on the bottom side, but they continue to live for another fight.
It was really well done, though. That was an important kill against Zul. Without it, I'm sure that Team Sweden would have sieged up even more than they do right now. They, of course, play out a 4 versus 4 at the bottom of the map because Leo had to defend the top. That keep took 50% damage, so this got hurt heavily. But they are now falling back since they are not willing to fight a numbers advantage. The problem is that Leo shows top lane again, so they can force an even fight down here, and it works out beautifully. Falstad comes in, too late to party. Anduin and Kalthus are both gone. It's a double kill for Sweden, as they once again exploit a situation perfectly.
That Rain of Vengeance landing on 3 members, man. Ooh, the turnaround from Falstad to go straight for the Falstad. Force of Will's going to come in. Captain may have overextended. He's running to the back right, which is going to buy time for Sven to get up more cooldowns. Captain starts to head over to the back left, and finally he will get picked off. And Medivh has actually been picked up into the mouth as well. Do they have the hook here to follow it up?
At the beautiful
end, locking him into place.
Fantastic Entomb here, and Sven goes down. All right, so they finally were able to get the kill.
Maybe a little bit too much aggression coming in from Sweden, but France will be thankful for that, as that will get them a couple of kills. And them finding those 2 kills gives them at least 30 more seconds here to soak more waves, and they are building towards that level 20. And there are some options at level 20 that get really interesting. I don't know about you, but Hungry Stitches sounds really fire here. Get a lot of hard engages, maybe lock down the Medivh as well, get a couple of bites. You have your Leap of Faith, you can pull a couple of people at the same time and Mighty Gust afterwards. What are you thinking?
Yeah, definitely. I think right now they are starting to stabilize a bit. If they get level 20, that would be great. They've been trailing in a lot of these fights by one talent or another continuously. They also have the gems, so if they're able to get to a point where they have level 20 talents and can get a turn in, this would be finally a moment where they can try and turn it around in structures, because that's where they are right now still heavily behind. And there's a kill on Vala. Fantastic. They get a kill. They try to go for the double. Galdegulnar is low, and he's not going to make it either. A double kill. They go for Whoopi. Try to make it a triple. Take gems away from Team Sweden. That's exactly what France needed here. This comes all with a talent disadvantage, and now they finally pick up their level 20. They have their gems. They have the level 20 talent. And they have the numbers advantage. So this was actually massive for them.
Exactly. Typically, we'll tell a lot of people, hey, if they're 20 and you're 19, don't fight. But that all changes when you have a number advantage and you have a pick composition. They were in a 5v3, and they were able to coordinate together to find a couple more kills before Medivh and Malfurion came up. Great heads-up play from France, and that gives them a massive chance to turn this game around. They are now equal on Storm talents. They did lose their keep in the bottom right to minion aggro, but with Web Weavers pushing here, they can really make a play towards opening up the map completely. Top 4 should go down, and if you get a keep wall open up in the middle and with a boss potential play later on, they could definitely steal away this game.
They have for sure now a much better position than previously. We could go to game number 4 on this. Falstad is going to fly in, help the team out. Bot lane, the Entomb. Yeah, if you land that, it's a different story. But the Entomb misses. Chen with Gorge, Chen with a ult now after Stitch's Gorge, and they're absolutely isolating Bleeder. This is going to be a kill, and that makes things tricky. They gotta keep. They got a keep, they got the top side fort, they might get the fort at the bottom of the map, but I think they were hoping for a lot more out of this attack.
Great play there by Splice. Oh, a great cover from Gravity Labs here. Can they get out? They're just trying to slow down everyone, make sure they're not mounted. And do note, during this entire chase that Gunnar and Medivh are trying to do, there are waves pushing. Bottom lane does get the fort, and there is a wave in the top left as well that's working on that keep wall, and it did successfully break that down. So this makes things really interesting as we head into the late game. The boss becomes a very important tool for ending those keeps on the top side and potentially ending the game. And there's currently a 5v4 advantage for Team Sweden. They don't have a lot of gems available to them, but they do have a decent size map control and can look towards this boss, and it looks like they're doing just that.
It seems like it. I mean, it's essentially a completely identical game right now when you're looking at structures, kills, and also experience. But that time advantage that they have allows the blue team to go straight for the boss of the top lane, which is what they're doing. And I guess that France is fully aware of it, but they are not willing to fight this with a numbers advantage. So what they're doing, numbers disadvantage, what they're doing instead is go for at least the mercenary camps here, but they will have to defend now. Leo pushed in, he should be able to get out. So he should be totally fine here. But this has started to become a very, very, very close game between the two teams.
It sure has. Splice currently being chased down, doesn't have really escapes, probably going to sacrifice his life for the good of the team here. The team is working grabbing the Giants on the bottom side, so these Giants will be pushing while they defend the boss in the top right. This boss is pretty robust right now. We're at 19 minutes, so if left uncontested, it can definitely take out that keep, and it looks like it was uncontested a little bit too long here. As that keep starts to burn down. Here comes the hook, though. Leader finds one. They pull him back. Light Bomb comes out. Not going to hit Malfurion, but Malfurion is behind enemy lines, and Malf is down. I repeat, Malf is down.
That was beautiful. That pull from Anduin to make sure that Chen can't save the target by jumping in and popping his own ult was fantastic. They still lose the keep, but that was more or less a given as the fight came through. But that was a glorious hook. Really, really well done what we saw there by Vlida. And then again, as I said before, the follow-up from Saren with Anduin and that pull to make sure that Chen couldn't come to the rescue. That was great as well. So now it's a numbers advantage for Team France. But yeah, this game is going down to the wire. And quick note, we are 280 stacks for Falstad. So he is soon going to get his mythic reward, which is going to boost his damage even further by a lot. So this could really help the red team. Especially since they also are ahead when it comes down to gems right now. They are potentially going for the next turn.
For me, the deciding factor is now between Medivh and Stitches, right? And a little bit of Anduin as well. If Medivh can find where the opposing team is, make sure to get enough information to his teammates, then of course he's going to be able to spot to do a lane line seal. And then of course we have the Stitches into a Gorge combo with a Leap of Faith. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Leyline Seal comes out, slowing down these turn-ins on the bottom side. There is enough turn-ins here for the red team to be able to grab some Web Weavers. Splice does overstep here. Falstad comes in. There's a wind tunnel in the corner. They turn around and look at Wubby. Splice is still alive. There's a light bomb as well. Can they keep him up and moving? It looks like they can, but Falstad will fall as well.
And just as he completes his quest, oh, no, Anduin is dead. So all of a sudden it's a 4 versus 3. Again, the numbers advantage for Team Sweden. And now the question is, what are they going to do with it? Looks like they're trying for the final keep of the game. They're not moving for the core, and they're not moving for anything else. They still got to deal with Stitches here, but they have a shot to push in for that keep. There's no camps on the map that they could use to try and push this. They don't have the gems for a turn-in, but they certainly have a damage output to try and take the structure down here before Anduin and Falstad come back. Falstad has his rewards now. He's fully stacked here, so this is really the moment where he could be a menace, and it seems like Sweden is even trying to end the game before they have a chance to bring him back.
Yeah, Splice up trying to hit an entomb there on top of Chen. Wanted to silence him, couldn't quite get it. Here comes another hook, but he is unstoppable. AZ goes in. Gonna be actually gorged here, which is a lot of the damage for Team Sweden to get on top of that core. Force of Will come out. There's a Rain of Vengeance. Leader trying to retreat. They're just trying to buy time right now. They need to buy 5 more seconds at least for Anduin to come out, but Falstad is here with a Mighty Gust, and they have held Khaldor.
They really not. Oh, there's an angle on Captain Rex and the portal. Oh! Instantly pops his ult too. Ooh, better safe than sorry.
Okay, well, at least all 5 are up now, and if they had gotten that pick, they would have had to turn it, but Sweden now is actually setting up a potential gank here. They come around, Wubby finds Vleeder. Vleeder's like, what the hell? Gets stuck into a corner here, doesn't have a bite, and with the leyline seal in the back left, Anduin couldn't come in to save Stitches and will have to try and save himself. Huge silence and Tomb comes out for Splice to buy the time here. Light Bomb coming out as well, but I fear it may have been a bit too much as Team Sweden with a pick is easily, like a tsunami, gonna run over Team France, and now they turn their attention to the core.
Yeah, that was nasty. Just as Team France thought, okay, we might have this after all, and they were fighting back in every single battle, all of a sudden Sweden gets that nice pick on Stitches that they prepped for, a little trap set up by them. Capitalize on it perfectly with multiple kills. Full-on 5-man team wipe as they take it. It's a 3-0 for Team Sweden as they eliminate the French team from the tournament and move on to the next round of the last chance qualifier. GG and well played.